Okay, hello guys. I'm here trying to show you how I plan my campaigns and how I start planning my campaign and how can you start your own D&D campaign. So even if you don't have experience, this video might help you on building the foundation of your campaign. So I'm going from 0 until 100%. So 0, you have nothing. So how can you play D&D even if you don't have anything?
Robot Guide to RPG.
Well, let me show you how you can do that. You can actually download the basic rules for D&D and you can play with those rules for now. So let's do that. Let's go to our browser and let's type in D&D 5e SRD. Why SRD? SRD is the system's reference document. So what you should do is you should go to the Wizards website. There are other websites, but you know the original one is from Wizards. So let's go to the Wizards website, and here we can find the SRD for the D&D. So you have some FAQs and things like that, but we can just download. So let's download the PDF, and here it is. So it's 400 pages. This document is used when you want to create content for D&D, and you kind of have to read on their legal information if you want to write a book for supplements or something. But well, this contains the basic rules for the game, as well as a few classes, a few of the races. All the classic races are here. So you have dwarves, elves, halflings, human, dragonborn, gnome, half-elf, half-orc, tiefling. So you have all the races here. You won't have pictures, but pictures are not important. Remember, this is free, so you can use it to play the game. And here are the classes as well. So we have barbarian, we have bard, we have cleric, if I remember correctly, cleric. And after cleric we will have druid, and what else? Well, you have the basic classes here: fighter, monk. So you can play the game with this. You don't need to buy the book. You have the rules over here. So if you're down on money or you're not sure if you want to play this game or not, you can download the SRD and see it for yourself. Problem here is if you are a beginner, if you never played RPG, you might think that this is too much. There's a lot of rules, and if you are a complete beginner, you've never played an RPG game, well, you can keep watching the video, but this video is not for you. I will make another video about a complete beginner on how to play RPG. This video is, I'm assuming you have experience with other systems and you're just curious about D&D, which is come on, I think almost everybody who plays RPG must have played D&D, but well, so that's the first step. First step, get the rules. If you don't have the money, you can just get the SRD and you have everything here that you need to play. A few of the backgrounds are not here. There's only a few monsters as well, a few spells, but this is all you need to play. So yeah, you have monsters as well. So you can use those monsters for your campaign. So this is the first step, get the rules. Now let's say that you don't have the dice either. So D&D uses a special set of dice, use the D4, D6, D8, D12, D20, which is like it's even like some sort of icon for RPG lately. Anyway, so you don't have the dice. How would you do? Well, if you are on a computer, you can just go to Google and, on Google, you can just type roll a D20, for instance. Roll D20. And Google will do that for you. And it will even give you the options for the D&D dice. So if you want to roll a D8, you just click on the 8 and it will add the dice. If you click on the die, it will remove it. So let's say you want to roll 5d8. You just click it 5 times and you can just click roll to roll again. So that's it. Like, if you have a computer, you can do that. You can do that on the smartphone as well. But let's say that you don't have internet when you're playing. You can download at the Play Store an app for this. So even if you don't have dice, you can play the game. Okay, now that we covered how to start this, let's talk about campaign. So let's see, what should we do when we first think of a campaign? Well, I usually work over spreadsheets. So I have here a blank spreadsheet. I'm using Google Docs, which is also free. I'm not going to spend any money on this. So I'm showing you how to create a campaign without spending any money. So, okay, so we have a spreadsheet. Now what should we do? Let's say that we have 3 or 4 players. Let's say 3 players, so it will, or 4 players. Let's use 4 players because that's like, in theory, what the D&D is balanced for. I don't really agree with that, but let's do that so it will be easier to make our adventures and dungeons and everything. So let's see, what do we need? We need to establish a world. So if you are in Brazil, a popular setting that is used is Tormenta, but I'm not familiar with that. I heard about it a lot from my players, but I don't really know about it. Another popular setting is Forgotten Realms. Forgotten Realms, I do use Forgotten Realms sometimes, but for those kind of things you kind of need money. So let's go with our own world. So let's create our own setting. So what do we need to do? Let's see, the easiest way to do that is like, let's use the SRD, what we have on the SRD about that. So let's check it out. So on the SRD, you won't find any information about setting or anything, but if you go for the cleric class, you will see here under the domains, you can see that it kind of talks about sun gods, gods of healing, agricultural deities, and it gives some names. Those names are from an old setting for D&D, but you can start by that. You can kind of like get those. Okay, so first thing that we should do is establish the gods and the pantheon. How do I say that? Oh,
Pantheon.
so our first thing to do here, I will place here the let's call this gods. So I'm going to name a god, and I need an alignment. What is this? It's just to tell if it's evil or not evil. Let's call this good or evil. I'm going to make something very, very simple. And what is the domain that we will have? The domain affects the cleric spells. So I'm going to make just 2 gods. One good, one evil, and that's it. So let's call the good god how is it? How is the Latin word for good?
A few moments later.
Let's call bonum and malum. Simple. So it's a good god, an evil god, so it's like any good alignment, any evil alignment. And so what will be the domain? Well, let's check the SRD. The SRD only gives us the life domain. So we are going to give Bono the life domain. And what about Malum? Well, here's the thing, I don't know. What do I mean by I don't know? It's starting to get dark, just a second. Okay, that's better. Okay, so what do I mean by I don't know? Well, it's simple. I won't let my players play evil characters, so I don't really have to worry about the domain. And if evil NPC, if an evil cleric ever shows up, well, at that point I will probably either have figured out what I'm going to create, this like maybe death domain, or I will just like not use those domain powers for the NPCs. So I just need to do this. So I'm going to give this a bold. I'm going to give this italic, and that's it. I'm settled with the gods. So what is my next step? Well, if we need to create a setting, we need to know some languages as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just use whatever the SRD throws at me on languages. So on the SRD, on languages, we have a table of standard languages and exotic languages. I'm just going to use that. So everybody will speak common, and each race has their own language, and some of the creatures as well. So that's settled for it. Next, we need a map and cities and what kind of government they have. So like I said, let's do something very, very basic, and let's first search for a map. So how do I find a map? Well, here's something that Wizards of the Coast use it to have. Wizards of the Coast use it to release map a week. So let's search for that. If we search for map a week, we are going to the Wizards Archive, and here it is. Ever since 2000, every single week there was a new map. Sometimes it was a map from a module, a supplement, or something like that. And I like to use these maps to when I want something. So let's see what we have here. We're going to look for something. Complete compiled archive. So over here we can check, and I will just grab something. We can get a world map, or we can just grab a region map. So I'm going to use this. I'm going to grab just a region map to make it small, and you can develop your world as you are kind of like playing the game. So let's see, we have here Adar, we have here Riedra, Sarlona. So let's get looking at this. I'm going to get this one. Let's open this up and see what we have. So here we have a map. This could be like the entire campaign could be over here. It doesn't matter what it says here. This Dor Malir, we can use those names or we can make up our own. Let's look for this Sarlona. This is kind of smaller than the other one. So, and there's a Tundra over there. There's a Adar over there in the bottom. So this kind of looks a little bit more what I usually like to work on. Let me see if there's any other. There's Dragonport. Okay, so let's get that map. Sarlona. This will be our campaign setting. I will just use those names, and let's get a city as well, because we need something to start. So cityscape and more. I'm going to get something small. So maybe this black wall. So here we have a city, black wall. There's a fortress in the middle, and there's an entire city around this fortress with roads connecting, and we can base it on this map. There's like some forests surrounding, there's agriculture, so probably a river around this. So let's get this placed here in let's zoom in a little bit over here in Pyrine. I'm going to make this over here in Pyrine, and let's leave this name Black Wall. So let's go to here, let's create our city. City, Black Wall. And let's see, what do we need to do? Well, I need to establish a few of the NPCs, main NPCs. So let's see here, NPC and profession. So we need like, what kind of government do we have over there? So let's make like something simple, mayor. So let's name, we can go to a fantasy name generator, which I'm going to do that right now. Fantasy name generator, and we are just going to use that. So let's go fantasy name generators. Where do I click? There's like okay, human. Let's click on human and Control C, Control V. Okay, Control X, Shift V. This will be the mayor. And so we can place more things like alignment. Alignment would be nice to have. I'll make it lawful neutral. If you want to be more complex than this, I don't really recommend at this moment. The NPCs will probably come to life as you are playing the game. you could kind of like make some specific traits. So trait is a coward, and so you can kind of like name the tavern keeper, the blacksmith, and you go on and make like the names of these characters and alignments. You don't really need stats for these guys, they are just going to be NPCs for your players to interact with. So what I suggest as well, after you make those NPCs, the major NPCs, write a list of names, male and female names. Why that? Because the players might surprise you and they might want to talk to somebody that you did not plan on letting them talk to. What would that mean? Well, what's your name? So that does not happen to you. You just like have a list of names ready, and when you use that name, you cross the name and you write it at the side. Okay, this guy is farmer number 1, or this guy is an old lady that they met, something like that. So you kind of have this control as well. Well, after you make the city NPCs, after you have the map for the city, as you can see on the map, you have numbers on it. If you have the supplement, you will know what these numbers are, but we are creating from scratch, so we are going to create those. We have to do that as well. So the easiest part is like the fortress. So we start with 1, 2, and 10. 2 is probably the main part of the fortress. 10 is probably the training grounds, and then you go on and name each of these numbers so you have a list of those ready. Well, after you have the world map, the city map, the NPCs, and when you have all the names, all the numbers named on your thing, and you have a list of gods, city, well, it's time to start the campaign itself. I will leave that for the next video. This will be a multi-part series, so this is just the basic setup. Basic setup is this. What we need to do is we need to figure out our what will be the plot of the campaign, what will it be at stake, who is the bad guy, who's the villain, and how will the PCs, the player characters, stop this villain, what will be their first adventure, and much more. And I will cover those things on the next few videos, but you can like start by doing this. This will be a lot of work. As I said, I only did 2 gods, but if you want to, you can create like 10 gods, 20 gods, and just be careful with all those things. If you don't have a lot of experience creating, just do the basic, make it very simple. You can make like 3 gods, 4 gods, 5 gods, and that will be enough, as long as you have like, remember on D&D you kind of have to have the domains as well, and if you don't have the book, the core rule book, you will have to stick to the SRD, and the SRD only has a life domain. So yeah, you have to have that in mind. But again, if you don't have the core rule book, and if you are not sure if you want to buy, start by doing like something simple like this and trying it out with your players, and if you want, you can buy the book and you can expand the number of gods, you can create your gods, you can get another setting. But yeah, these videos will be about creating your own setting, your own campaign, and we will create an adventure together as well for the first level. So for now, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys like it. I think I have to say this kind of thing. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell, give a like, comment, and things like that. Well, see you guys later, or else you guys see me later. Bye.